question, because I have taken up way more time, but I'm just so enjoying this conversation. I know everybody that is going to watch this is going to get so much out of that. I'm so appreciative of your realness of everything.
Well, I just want to say with people that I would like you to get rich. I would encourage you to get rich. First of all, let's face it, for your own lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Why? Unless you believe you're coming back and you won't even remember if you do, you're going to live one time. Why not make the most of it and live the best life you can? And for yourself and for your family. It's not going to make you a bad person to live a nice lifestyle and eat well and do things like that. Okay. And then secondly, for contribution, I believe this, that if you have the wherewithal to get rich or have a lot of money, it's your duty to do so. Why? So you can help other people that are never going to have that opportunity and wherewithal that you do. If you're watching this right now, you have a computer, half the people in the world don't have a computer. Why? Because they can't afford a computer, and where they live wouldn't even have access to a computer. They have no wherewithal. You have wherewithal. You have opportunity. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. It's okay to earn a lot of money so you can take care of yourself and take care of other people, be able to help other people. They always say you can't get orange juice from a lemon. I'm sorry. You can't get major contribution from a person who's broke. Well, I contribute in other ways. Do that too. But at least have the opportunity to help other people. Build that wellness center. Build that place that allows people to come and heal who are in cancer treatments. Help people, okay? You can do that if you have the wherewithal to do it. That's where you need to come from. Everything needs to change. Money is not about you. Money is about being able to go out there and help people solve a problem that'll give you your money, and then take that money and help other people that can't help themselves. Is there something wrong with that? Is that a bad person? I'm sorry, I'm just not getting that. Okay? So yeah, I think it's a good idea to go for it. And structure yourself and your money and your situation so that you can do well, right? And enjoy that and help other people.
Life is so much easier because everything requires money. And you get to live a life that you get to think of a creative thing. And that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you, is that for me, and having my book come out, Quantum Success, one of the qualities that we talk in that book is how important it is to create. And when you have money, you allow yourself to take the divine ideas that come to you as the creator that you are, and then do something with it. Because it takes money to build a website, or to, get on a plane to go speak somewhere, or whatever. I would love for you to talk about that whole process of creating.
Well, for me at least, you're talking about manifesting in the world, or is that what you're talking about mostly?
Just the ability as a human being, one of the faculties that we have is to create. We get to be creative. We get to think of something and then actually create it.
Well, yes. So the question is, what specifically, the big problem is that we have this faculty, but most people don't use the faculty because they're not clear. That's number one problem. You know what? You can't get what you want if you don't know what you want. That's the number one rule, right? Most people don't know what they want. That's why they can't create what they want. You're not going to create 48 things at once. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. For some reason, you've got to focus, and for some reason, it's like you put the sun through the magnifying glass, right? And it can boil an egg, right? You put the egg down, and it boils the egg. How does that? That doesn't do that by itself. Why? Because that energy is scattered. But when you focus the energy on one thing, that energy is magnified, and we all know this. So, but what about you? It's great to know these principles, everyone, but what are you doing with it? Here's what my experience is with 90% of the students that come into my room before I speak with them. They're scattered all over the place, especially people who are somewhat spiritually inclined. So scattered. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but for the question of what we're talking about, manifestation and creation, it doesn't work really well. Ask the egg. See the egg? The egg's sitting there. It isn't doing anything. You got to put a magnifying glass on it. You got to focus on it. Then it works. So it's not a question of good or bad or right and wrong, everyone. It's a question of, does the strategy work or doesn't it work in the real world? If you want to create what you want, first thing you have to do is focus. Yeah, but I have so many interests. Great. You can have so many interests. Set them up in a way where at least you're focusing on one thing, though. I mean, so I'm semi-retired now, but when I was heavy in business, I, literally worked or took care of business 13, 14 hours a day. Say, well, Harv, you have no life. Hold on. No. I also worked out. I also meditated. I also made sure I had date night. I also made sure I took my kids out at least once a week, each one of them for a morning or an evening by themselves. There's a way to structure this. Okay. It's not, we call it the big rocks method. We teach this method, but it's not that difficult. So yeah, but you are going to have to focus. Why? Because I'll tell you what, to be successful at anything, you talk about manifesting, creating, you want to do it successfully, to be successful at anything, it's going to take all your energy. I'm sorry if I burst your bubble. To get to the highest level of anything, it takes everything you've got. It really does. Because that's the way energy is. It's like the egg, okay? You can't be speaking in front of 5,000 people if you're not one of the best in the world at doing what you do. And you're not going to be one of the best in the world. And I'm talking about me. I'm talking about you. You're not going to be one of the best in the world if you don't become the best in the world. You don't become the best in the world if you don't focus on it, if you don't work at it, if you don't train yourself, whatever it is, right? So you've got to become great. And that's the other thing. So number one is focus. And so number one is clarity. And then number two is focus. And number three, I would say, is be the best at what you do. Be great at what you do. Be a master at what you do. First of all, that'll alleviate a lot of your fear problems. You go, you know what? I'm pretty good at this. I mean, and when you're good at it, you don't really have as much of fear around it, right? Let alone the fact that you're just thinking about that. But be good at it. Why? Because very, very simple. The better you are at what you do, generally, the more you get paid. As simple as that. The professional athletes, these guys are making $5, $10, $20, $30 million a year. Why would someone pay a quarterback in football $30 million a year? Maybe because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the world.
Right.
Simple as that. Why does someone earn, I have a stockbroker literally earns $5 million a year. Well, and I know another stockbroker, is not my stockbroker, who can barely eke out a living. Why is that? Well, the first stockbroker is really good. He's great. He's great at what he does. He's a master. He's a real expert. He's been doing this for 25 years. He makes a lot of money at stocks himself. When he recommends something, I go for it. Why? Because he's good at it. The other guy, not so good at it, okay? Whatever you're doing, if you're going to be a teacher, here's what my challenge to you all. Whatever you want to do, your intention is to be no less than the best in the world at this. Harv, don't be ridiculous. I'm not being ridiculous. You go for being the best in the world at it. Do you know what it's going to take to be the best in the world at something, Harv? Yeah, I think I do know that. Yeah, I do know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my intention. And some people say I'm okay in certain areas. That was my intention. It's always, I think we just talked about something because you said, what are you writing and all that? You're writing a book. I went, no, I'm just writing right now. I'm not writing a book. Well, why not? People ask me all the time, why aren't you writing a book? Well, I'm writing this information. I believe it's very, very beneficial to people, but I can believe that all I want. And so, but how do I know? And so I think, as I said earlier, I think writing a book when in this arena right now at this stage for me would be arrogant. How do I know? So what do I do? I'm writing the information. I'm going to put it into principles. I'm putting it out there. I'm going to, as I said earlier, I'm going to put it out to my audience, just a little bit of my audience. I'm going to teach it. I'm going to take questions. I'm going to coach people. Like, I don't coach people one-on-one, but I'm going to coach people as I'm doing that. And I'm going to see what's going on for them in their lives. And I'm going to see what they understand, what they don't understand, how I could have framed this differently. You know, what does this principle work? Does it not work when in the real world? Okay, what's going on here? And then, because I'm not attached to it, I just want it to work for people. And then once I've created it in such a way and redone it 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 and redone it, redone it to where it not only works for people, but it's expressed in the way that is the very best it could possibly be, and I can express it in the very best way that I possibly can, then I'm going to put it out there in a bigger way in the real world, and that might probably be in a live situation first. Why? Because I want to see firsthand what's going on for people with literally hundreds or thousands of people at once in the room. What challenges, what questions, what's going on? The reason Secrets of the Millionaire Mind was a New York Times #1 bestseller and sold 50,000 copies in its first week. The reason that literally 11 years later, I'm still proudly getting over $150,000 a year in income and royalties from a book that's 11 years old.
Wow.
150 grand a year in royalties. Still, I don't market it at all. Zero. But people find it, right? Because
it's a great book.
Because people think this is a great book. How did it become a great book? It came from a great course. How to become a great course? It took 15 years for it to become a great course. That's how. Every time I do the course, I go back and go, okay, let me do this, let me add this. For some reason, this didn't have any punch. I want to redo this piece. Every time I've done the course 500 times, every time I redo it. Every time. What about you? Are you that precise? Are you willing to do what it takes to be the best in the world? Is your product, is your service the best in the world? The best in the world. And if it's not, make it the best. And make yourself the best at doing it. Because if you want to get, write this down, if you want to get paid the best, you must be the best. Period, over and out.
So I need to say this because this is really amazing. This is like I'm hearing it in surround sound. And I hold this principle in my life, and I used to judge myself because I wanted to be with the best. I wanted to be with it was most popular. I wanted, these goals. And now I understand why, because I heard Bo Eason, who was one of the top safeties. When he was 9 years old, he had this idea that he wanted to be the best, not just a safety. He wanted to be the world's best safety, right? That's what he went for. And he said, who am I going to learn from? Who do I need to know from to be the best? And then he decided after his career was over, he wanted to be on stage and he wanted to be a stage actor. Who's the best? Like he went and they said Al Pacino. So he went and trained with Al Pacino. Most people go, there's no way I can get in touch with Al Pacino, right? So him, Bo Eason. Dave Pratt is a local Scottsdale radio personality. When he was a kid, his whole thing was, I want to be the best radio personality, not DJ. I want to be the best radio personality. And that's what his focus was. Luis Gonzalez, who was one of the, he was an outfielder for years with Major League Baseball. He was the one that hit the ball and won the Diamondbacks, one and only what's it called? Championship.
Yeah.
World Series. He was the one that, when I interviewed him, he said, I just wanted to be the best. When I was a little kid playing t-ball, I just wanted to be the best. And all the way through his career, he just wanted to be the best. And now I have the amazing Harv Eker. I mean, you have set so many records as an author, and the amount of people that you have impacted by the amount of people that you speak to. I mean, like I said earlier, a lot of major milestones in my life because I got to sit at your feet, and not one-on-one, but in your books. And I got to learn from you because you had this drive, this calling to be the best. And Don Miguel Ruiz says one of the 4 agreements is always do your best.
And why is that? So again, you're going to have people on this listening and watching this right now who are going, that's ego. That's ego, right? Being the best is all about ego. For some people, it is absolutely correct. I'm not talking about some people. I'm talking about you. You. Is it ego for you? I can tell you for me, part of it, when at the beginning certainly was a bit of ego. Why not? And you know what? They go together. Guess what? You have an ego. It's not going away. You're not turning into, again, Mother Teresa here. She probably doesn't have an ego. Probably does. Neither does the Dalai Lama me. But I'm not either of them. I'm just Harv. Okay. So I got an ego. It's the way it is. But where are you coming from? What is your purpose? What is your intention? Do you want to be the best so people can shower you with accolades? Or do you want to be the best so you can shower people with support and assistance and helping them? Which one?
And have life force. I mean, that divine in us wants to be the best. It wants us to live each, aspect of all of our energy and life force energy into everything that we do. That's why we're here. We want to
not wanting that is simply one thing: fear. Now we're right back where we started. It's fear. Why wouldn't you want to be the best at something? Tell me. It's going to take too much energy. It's too much hassle. What if people alienate me because I'm successful? What if I might lose I might lose what I have? I'm not going to make it anyways. Me, the best? Come on, it's ridiculous. I'm lucky to be good at something, let alone the best. What are all those? They're all fear. Fear, 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 fear. Like I said, fear runs our life. The only thing you can do is notice it. Stage number 1, notice the fear. Number 2, I have a webinar that people seem to really like. It's called "Don't Believe a Thought You Think." Mm-hmm. When that fear comes up, when that thought comes up, first you have to notice what it is. Secondly, understand where is this coming from? It's coming from your survival part of you, the lizard mind, the fear-based protection part of you just needs you to survive. That part of you is not interested in your happiness. That part of you has no interest in your success. It only has one job, and that is for you to live another day, for you to survive. And everything that can hurt you, quote unquote, even emotionally, is a challenge to its survival, to your survival. That's the way it looks at it. You've got to be able to master that part of your mind. If you don't master your mind will master you. And I guarantee you will not be a happy person and you won't be successful. You know that, right? Okay. So when you say you teach law of attraction, the number one thing about attraction is get out of the freaking way. Get out of the way. And what part of you has to get out of the way? Your left ear? Is it your hair? Is it your knee? That has to get out of the way? No, your mind must get out of the way of what's channeled through your heart and your soul. Your mind, the fear-based mind, out of the way. If you can quiet that mind, everything you want will be right in front of you.
Love it. You're giving a free gift of your amazing new ebook, Speed Wealth. So we'll put that underneath the video. Any last words or anything that you want to say about the free gift before we go?
Well, it's helped a lot of people. A lot of people. I mean, I still get emails and posts on social media and stuff of people who've read that book. It's a little book. That's why I love it. It's a little. I love books you can read in one sitting, man, and change your life. Mm-hmm. It's a little book. It really is. It's all about. It says how to stop earning a living and how to start creating wealth. And literally, I wrote it based on. I was broke for 10 years, like literally broke for 10 years. I had to choose most evenings whether I was going to put $5 of gas in my car the next day or eat that night. And I had to choose the gas a lot. So I know what it's like, even though it doesn't seem it now. I definitely know what it's like to be broke. And I know what it feels like, and it does not feel good. And I wrote that. I was very, very fortunate that I came across a friend of my father's. He gave me some advice. He said, if you want to be rich, you need to study rich people. So I studied rich business people. I ended up coming up with 7 principles that they all seem to have in common. And I put these principles to the test, and I became a millionaire, starting with a $2,000 credit card loan in 2.5 years. And so now that's what's in this book. It's what are these 7 principles? And I wasn't doing any of them. I wasn't doing any of them right. So here's what they are. These are 7 principles that I use to become a millionaire. And really the original subtitle was how to make $1 million in your own business in 3 years or less. That's the original subtitle. We just want to expand it. So it's been expanded to everyone. And so yeah, it's how do you earn money quickly, right? Quickly. And it's not foo-foo and it's not woo-woo, but it definitely comes from the heart, and it works. It works in the real world with real people. Okay. And people just don't know this information. And I sure didn't. And I tried everything, but nothing worked. So number 1, You have to use all 7 principles. If you miss one of the principles, you won't do well financially. You just won't. And number 2, you must do them in order. There's 7 steps. All 7 steps have to be in order. You put them in the wrong order, it's not going to work. There's a reason for everything. It's very short. It's very pertinent. And all the time someone picks up the book and goes, oh my God, you just kind of identified like a master's in getting rich, literally in 60 pages. And wow, this is so simple. Anybody can do this.
You haven't gone down below the video and click the link after that. I don't know what else to tell you. So go below the video, click the link, grab his book. I mean, look and apply. Learn and apply. That's the key. Applying is moving energy, moving things, changing things. Apply each one of the 7 principles like Harv is talking about, and you'll see change. You'll see massive change because I'm a student of Harv's, and
well, that's the thing that you do that's different than a lot of people there, Christy, is you do it. So I want to leave, you said what I want to leave people with. I want to leave everyone with the 2 simple principles for success. And you just said them. It's the simplest principle for success. This is it. Learn and do. Write that down, everybody. Learn and do. So you learn something and then you do what you learned. And then what do? You learn more and then you do what you learned. And then you learn more and do what you learned. Learn, do, learn, do, learn, do, learn. If you do that, if you continue to do that cycle, learn, do, learn, do, learn, do, you have to be successful. You have to be, because you're constantly learning, constantly doing what you learn. What's the problem with most people? They don't do one or the other. Yeah. They either don't learn more or they don't learn enough. And so they do what they already know, and that's just getting them what they already got. Or they don't do what they learned. It's one of those 2 problems. It's always boils down to only one of those 2 things. You didn't learn or you didn't do what you learned. Duh, that's it. Doesn't get much more simple than that. And the question I have for everyone is, which one is holding you back? Put them both together and your life will change. Just like Christy. Model Christy. She's a good person to model.
Oh, thank you. I'm touched. I could go on with all day, and I'd have to let you go. So everybody, leave us a comment under the video. Let us know what you're taking away from this. I mean, this has just been jam-packed with so much information. I'm so grateful for you, Harv, truly. And thank you for being a role model of how to be a leader in a way that's really full of integrity and of service. So thank you for that. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having me, and bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and here is a related video to watch right now. Also, check out my free webinars on creating whatever you want in your life using the universal laws that I explain in each webinar. So share your thoughts by leaving a comment and continue the conversation at ChristyWhitman.com.